psychology, and we started with why we study psychology, a little bit about you, a little bit about your habits. Psychology is something that we use in absolutely everything. Marketing depends on psychology, filmmaking, business industries. Everything in the world requires psychology to some extent, including your relationships, your life, dealing with people, your behavior, your habits, the things you like, the things you don't like. They all come from something in your psyche, in your mind, in the things that have happened with you. Why do we start with the history of psychology? Because these thinkers that you're covering, Freud, Skinner, Jung, Lacan, Maslow, Piaget, Erikson, these guys, while they are history of psychology, the vocabulary they created, the words and the concepts they came up with, when you talk about the id, the ego, the superego, or you talk about an archetype, these are words we now use in modern day language, especially in higher education, especially in media, especially in business. We use this lingo. It comes from these thinkers, not from modern psych, but from the history of psychology, which is perhaps 300, 400 years, but they're very important. So once we cover all these theories and we cover everything about them, then we'll move on to modern psychology, and we'll move on a little bit more to diagnosing problems, dealing with issues, what are disorders, what is normal, and the concept of what is abnormal. Abnormal psychology as a word has been cancelled, but we'll discuss that later on once we get to there. For you to do well in this class, what I want you to do is not only read my posts and my lectures, but for instance, in the exercise right now that you all did, where you ask each other questions, I want you to go through everyone's questions and answers, everyone's summaries. If you actually read that whole thing, just that one single thread, that thread of all the questions answered, and then students asking about them, and then researching them, and re-answering those questions. If you read all of that, I promise you, you will know 80% of the material for the course. Just read it with attention, read everyone's posts, pay attention to my remarks, pay attention to each other asking questions, learn from your colleagues. Online education is about wanting to learn. We cannot push you online. All these exams that are done, monitored, all this is all nonsense. I know you all know how to cheat. I know you all know how to get around it. So what I want you to do is want to learn this, because I promise you, psychology is going to help you become better at being you, and it's going to help you understand yourself and lead to a better life. It is not just something you're going to learn and get a grade on the course. Who cares about that? I want you to learn something that will be useful for you. So please do the readings. I'm going to post a couple of things about the history and your new